afternoon, I am Chantal Groshop and this is your news at noon. Today's top stories: Bayleaf move in to clear the UK's largest illegal traveller site at Dale Farm in Essex. It comes after a 10-year legal battle and a series of last-minute appeals and delays. An official report finds that former Defence Secretary Liam Fox broke the ministerial code in his dealings with his friend Adam Werrity. And in sport, British race car driver Dan Wheldon was killed in a 15-car pileup at Las Vegas. Wheldon was just 33. The Occupy Wall Street protest has turned violent in New York City. Around 5,000 demonstrators assembled in Times Square for several hours to demonstrate their dissatisfaction with the current economic crisis. And now, first this hour, bailiffs have moved in to clear the UK's largest traveller site. Riot police entered the site in Essex just after 8 this morning. The travellers had a last attempt to save their site, but lost at the Court of Appeal on Monday. One traveller said she had been hit by a baton, and another set fire to her own caravan. At least 50 police officers have been taking part in the operation to clear the site. Join us on a full report on this story this evening on our news at 6. Now, back home, Liam Fox, the former Defence Secretary, is due to make a personal statement to the Commons today. It comes after a critical report into his activities with a close friend, which exposed a rise disregard for Whitehall rules. Mr. Fox said, "I mistakenly allowed the distinction between my personal interest and my government activities to become blurred." It was said in a report published yesterday that the former Defence Secretary failed to tell his permanent secretary that he had solicited funds to bankroll his close friend. David Cameron is expected to be grilled at Prime Minister's questions about how such a breach went apparently undetected until a newspaper investigation. Now we go to international news as the anti-banking protests continue in New York. Workers in the financial industry say they're just a heartbeat away from an unemployment line themselves.
We're fighting wars that are going on for years and years and years, and billionaires are not contributing to the problem. People on Wall Street, bankers, and people who manage hedge fund and credit swap derivatives or whatever those are walking away with billions.
These protests have influenced other movements around the world, showing a global concern about the economic situation. Now we go back home again. The political battle over energy bills has intensified after David Cameron met with main energy providers in the UK. I went out to discover what people think about rising energy prices.
Energy bills have risen dramatically in recent months as companies raise their prices because of rising wholesale costs, meaning an average dual fuel bill in Britain costs £1,345 a year, according to the watchdog Ofgem. This is raising concern among consumers, especially with winter just around the corner.
We are determined to get tough with the big six energy companies to ensure that the consumer gets the best possible deal.
We're seeing 15% increases on our energy bills on average over the last year. So every time we go to do a new contract, our prices are going up unless we actually start to save energy.
Is the university considering switching suppliers?
Not right now. Not right now. We're just in contract at the moment.
Are there any other ways of saving energy at the university?
Yeah, quite a lot. Comes down to personal behaviours, a lot of it. Make sure you switch off lights, switch off computers, electrical equipment. We're putting in a lot of projects to try and reduce the energy. As you know, we put new boilers in here and a whole new control system as well.
And any natural resources, such as solar panels? Or
We're looking at them. We haven't introduced them yet, but over the next year or two, I think we'll be seeing some of that coming on board.
Energy Secretary Chris Huhne has said that people have to check that they are on the cheapest available energy tariff and whether they could save money by paying by direct debit. He was speaking after a summit with the 6 biggest power firms, consumer groups and regulator Ofgem. The summit discussed whether bills were higher because of the lack of competition. The Prime Minister said that the government needed to work harder and faster to bring down energy bills. Regulator Ofgem has predicted a rise in firms' prospective profit margins from £15 to £125 per customer. These figures are challenged by the industry. Ofgem will publish its detailed proposal for consultation next month and hopes to have implemented some of its reforms in time for winter 2012.
And now we move into sport. The world of motorsport has been left devastated after the tragic death of driver Dan Weldon. Our sports correspondent, Shauna Sherwood, has the full story.
Tragic scenes of the 15-car pile-up that claimed the life of Dan Weldon. With 34 cars racing on only a 1.5-mile-long track, reaching speeds of 225 miles per hour, some professionals have said that this was inevitable, an accident waiting to happen. The tragedy came 13 laps into a 300-lap race. Dan, who was popular amongst other drivers, when airborne, flipped and hit the catch fence. He suffered severe head injuries. Danica Patrick, who was on the lower part of the track, avoided the collision and later stated how she felt uneasy and eased off the throttle, something widely unheard of for race drivers. Tributes have come from across the world, and 5 slow laps of honour were completed by the 19 drivers not involved in the crash. It was an emotional moment for everyone, including the fans, drivers and commentators. There was silence in the arena, other than the bagpipes playing Amazing Grace. Lead IndyCar commentator Bob Jenkins bid a fond farewell at the end of his broadcast.
Many people ask me why I always sign off till we meet again, because goodbye is always so final. Goodbye, Dan Weldon.
Thank you very much, Shauna. Now, let's take a quick look at today's weather. Sunshine and blustery showers in north and the west, dry and sunny further southeast at first, but a few showers developing later. Chilly northwesterly winds are easing. A more detailed weather report will be on tonight's news at 6. That's it for this afternoon. We'll be back this evening with more with Katie Williamson at 6. Good afternoon.